Hey guys, welcome to Grace Automation and Engineering Services. In this video, we are going to discuss the automation of a chemical processing unit. Here is the block diagram of the system we need to automate. Here we have four types of products, product A, B, C and D. Firstly, by pressing the start button, the valve VA and VC will be opened and the material will be poured into the containers. So this valve VA and VC will remain open. The VA will remain open until the sensor LSA is detected. So when LSA is detected, VA will be off and VB will be turned on. So VB will remain on until the sensor LSB is detected. So similarly for the other container, the valve C will be on until the limit sensor LSC is detected, and then after that VD will be turned on while the VC will be turned off, and VD will remain on until the limit sensor LSD will be detected. So when all of these sensors are turned on, the valves are turned off, and after that these outlet valves V1 and V2 will be opened. So the outputs of these valves will be turned on. The V1 will remain on until the limit sensor LS1 is detected. It means this tank is got empty, so the V1 will be turned off. Similarly, the V2 will remain on until the limit sensor LS2 is detected. So after that the mixer will turn on, and simultaneously the heater will turn on. So as per requirement, we can see that these are the process for valves, and here we can see that mixer and heater will be turned on. Mixer will turn on after 30 seconds and the heater will turn on after the 60 seconds of the mixer. Means the mixer will run for 30 seconds while the heater will run for total 90 seconds. So after that the motor M1 starts until the sensor S0 is detected. So here we can see that motor 1, this motor will be moving this conveyor where the bottles will be moving. So motor 1 will be turned on until S0 is detected, means the bottle has reached here. So when the bottle has reached here, the motor will stop, and VR, this valve will be turned on, the bottle will be filled until this sensor PO0, this is the pressure sensor. Actually it's measuring the weight of the bottle, means when the bottle is filled the sensor will be on. So when the bottle is filled, the motor M1 will turn on again, and this will move forward. So this will keep on repeating. When the S0 will be detected, motor will stop, filling will be done, and bottle will move on. For the conveyor 2, the motor 2 will turn on when motor 1 has turned on and off first time. So for the first time it has turned on and off, the motor M2 will be still off, but for the second time when the motor 1 will be turned on, the motor 2 will also turned on along with that. When the bottles will be moving on this conveyor, when S1 sensor is detected, mean bottle has reached here, the motor M2 will stop, and after that the pneumatic cylinder will turn on to cork the bottle. So this will remain on until this pressure sensor P1 is detected. So it means the corking has completed, and then the cylinder will be turned off and motor M2 will be turned on to move the bottle forward. So in this way it will keep on repeating. Bottles will be coming here, stop here, and corking will be done, and the bottles will move on. This process of filling the bottles and corking will keep on repeating until the mixture in this mixer is present. When material will go down, it will be detected by the lower limit sensor LR, reactor sensor LR. So when this sensor is detected, it means the mixer has got about empty. So the process of filling and corking will stop, and the raw material pouring into the container will start again. So the valves VA, VB, VC, VD will be on as per logic, and the raw material will be poured into the mixer and process will repeat again. Now let's move to the tier bottle software. Here the logic is designed to control the whole system. So let's turn on the simulator to test the logic and load the program into the simulator. Now let's run the simulator and turn on the monitoring mode. Here we can see that initially all the outputs are off. So we shall press the start button. So here we can see that first of all, as per requirement, the valve VA and VC are on. So when the limit sensor LSA, here it's named as ALS, this will be detected. So here we can see that VA has turned off while VB has turned on. So when LSC will be detected, here we can see that VC has turned off and VD has turned on. Now these will remain on until BLS and DLS are detected. So let's turn those sensors on. Let's turn on BLS. Here we can see that VB has turned off and then DLS. Here we can see that VD has also turned off. Now here we can see that V1 and V2 has turned on. Means these valves are now opened. So these will remain open until LS1 and LS2 are detected. So let's turn those sensors on. Here let's turn on container 1 LS. Here we can see that V1 has turned off, and by turning on the container 2 sensor, V2 here has turned off. So here the mixer and heater has turned on. For the testing we have taken the time less than actual. Mixer was on for 10 seconds and the heater will remain on for 30 seconds. Here we can see that mixer has turned off and heater is still on, and now after the 30-second heater has also turned off, and now the motor M1 is turned on, means the conveyor is running and bottles are moving on that. So the bottle will stop when sensor S0 is detected. So let's turn the S0 on. Here we can see that motor 1 is on but motor 2 is still off. So let's turn on S0. Here we can see that motor 1 has stopped and VR valve has turned on. So means the bottle is being filled. It will keep on filling until pressure sensor P0 is detected. So let's turn on P0. Here we can see that now VR has turned off and motor 1 has turned on again, and now see that motor 2 has also turned on. So now both the conveyors are running and bottles are moving on that. So here motor 2 is on, bottle is moving on that, and it will keep on moving until the sensor S1 is detected. So let's turn that on, S1. Here we have S1. Let's turn it on. Here we can see that motor M2 stopped and the cylinder D turned on. It will keep on until the pressure sensor P1 is detected. So let's turn that on. Here we can see that by turning on the sensor, the cylinder was turned off while the motor started again. So this will keep on repeating until the material is present in the reactor. So let's again test the motor 1. Here it will be running until S0. Now VR is on. It will be on until P0. So it will keep on repeating. So now let's turn on the sensor LR so that we can repeat the cycle from start. Here above we can see that all the valves are off. So when LR will be detected, means here we can see that now the motors has turned off, means the process of filling the bottles and crocking has stopped, while the raw material pouring has turned on. So here we can see that sensors V, here we can see that valves VA and VC has turned on,